Welcome to This Explainer. If you've ever felt completely overwhelmed by the sheer number of front-end frameworks out there, trust me, you are not alone. Today, we're tracing the crazy evolution of front-end web development. We'll be breaking it all down by comparing the web to building a modern city, tracing the journey from the most basic foundational code all the way up to advanced client-side security. Let's get right into it. On the agenda today, we've got 6 key parts. We're looking at the web's building blocks, semantic HTML and the DOM, the 2026 front-end roadmap, advanced JavaScript, the HTML-first approach, and finally, securing the client side.
Starting off with Section 1, the web's building blocks.
To really wrap your head around this, think of building a physical city. HTML is your physical structure, the walls, the floors, the basic layout of a building. CSS, that's your styling. It's the paint, the interior design, the beautiful facade that makes people actually want to look at it. And JavaScript is the plumbing and the electricity. It's the functional part that makes the building actually work. So, if a real estate developer tears down a tiny pizza place to build a luxury apartment building, the structure, the HTML, completely changes. The styling, the CSS, updates to look fancy. But that underlying JavaScript logic, like a door automatically opening when you walk up to it, stays exactly the same. Grasping the separation of concerns is the absolute bedrock of front-end development.
Moving into Section 2, Semantic HTML and the DOM.
Now, to organize that HTML structure and actually make it mean something, we use what's called semantic HTML. Basically, this means using tags that clearly describe the content inside them. So instead of just throwing everything into generic div or span tags, semantic HTML uses specific tags like header, article, main, and footer. It tells both the developers looking at the code and the browsers reading it exactly what that piece of the page is supposed to do.
Using these specific tags isn't just about writing pretty code, though. It has a massive real-world impact. For one, it dramatically improves accessibility for screen readers and other assistive devices. It makes sure your digital city can be navigated by everyone. And secondly, it's a huge boost for SEO. Search engines like Google absolutely love structured, well-annotated content. They can read a semantic tag and instantly understand the hierarchy of your information.
All that beautifully organized HTML gets parsed into the Document Object Model, or as we usually call it, the DOM. Think of the DOM as a central control panel. It acts as the bridge where your JavaScript actually gets to interact with the physical structure of the page. This is what lets you dynamically update a website without forcing a clunky, full-page reload every single time you click something.
All right, Section 3, the 2026 front-end roadmap. What's absolutely crucial to take away from this career roadmap is the specific order of how you learn things. Notice that we don't start by jumping into massive frameworks. Months 1 and 2 are all about deeply mastering browser basics and raw JavaScript, getting good enough that you can debug the UI natively. You really need to understand network requests, DOM trees, and data structures first. Then, around month 3, you bring in TypeScript to safely model your UI data. It's only in month 4 that you finally pick a framework like React or Vue to organize your state and components. And finally, you move into full app architecture and security. Jumping straight into a framework before understanding the browser, it's literally like trying to wire a house for electricity before you've even built the walls.
On to Section 4, Advanced JavaScript and SPAs.
So, as we progress, the apps we build become way more complex. We're talking about single-page applications, or SPAs, which load one HTML page and dynamically update as you interact with it. To handle this staggering complexity, modern JavaScript had to evolve incredibly fast. The ES 2024 and ES 2025 updates brought in these powerful native features that save developers hours of debugging. Take object.groupBy, for example. Grouping an array of data used to require writing complex loops, taking up 15 lines of code. Now, it's done natively in a single line. Or look at Promise with Resolvers, which cleans up asynchronous code without trapping you in messy, nested structures. The main takeaway here is that vanilla JavaScript is getting so capable, you often just don't need heavy external libraries for basic data manipulation anymore.
Section 5, the HTML-first approach.
Now, relying heavily on those massive JavaScript SPAs often means complex build steps, a really thick client state, and basically obscuring what's happening from the browser. This has actually sparked a huge counter-movement known as the HTML-first approach. This method embraces tools like HTMX and Alpine.js. What they do is extend the capabilities of vanilla HTML using special attributes, which shifts all that heavy application logic right back to the server. It promotes a hypermedia-driven architecture with minimal client state and, best of all, zero build steps. It's kind of like a return to the simplicity of the early web, but keeping all that modern interactive power.
So, is HTML first actually better? Well, the numbers speak for themselves. When a real-world SaaS product migrated from React over to HTMX, their codebase size shrank by 67%. Their build time plummeted from 40 seconds down to just 5, and they slashed their JavaScript dependencies by a mind-blowing 96%. By moving the state and logic back to the server, they achieved a dramatically simpler, way more maintainable front end. It is an incredibly compelling argument for literally putting HTML first.
Section 6. Securing the client side. Here's the thing. Whether you're building a massive, towering SPA in React or you're embracing the lightweight HTML-first approach, there is one universal reality. All that source code running in the browser is completely exposed to everyone, and that includes attackers. Bad actors can exploit vulnerabilities like DOM-based cross-site scripting to glean invaluable info about your server side. We're talking REST endpoints, validation routines, database queries, the whole shebang. And the sheer complexity of modern frameworks often leaves traditional security tools completely blind to these threats. Since older tools are failing against these complex apps, researchers have proposed a brilliant solution called Gelato. Traditional security crawlers usually fail because they get completely lost in the endless state changes of modern JavaScript. Gelato, however, is a feedback-driven, guided crawler. It is specifically built to understand and navigate complex modern libraries automatically. It uses lightweight, client-side taint analysis that doesn't even require you to modify the browser itself to find vulnerabilities. To really put this into perspective, state-of-the-art tools like Crawljax and Artemis miss 6 or more critical features needed for modern client-side security. Gelato, it covers 100%. That's 15 out of 15 crucial features required to accurately map and secure modern web apps. It successfully navigates the unpredictable, dynamic nature of the modern web, right where other tools just hit a brick wall. Ultimately, whether you are utilizing the absolute newest JavaScript framework, leaning on advanced tools like Gelato for security, or intentionally stripping it all back and embracing HTML first, this quote perfectly summarizes the whole point. The goal is not to know every front-end tool. The goal is to become the person a team can trust with user-facing behavior. It's not about memorizing a stack of tools. It's about deeply understanding the platform so you can deliver an incredible, secure user experience. So, as we look to the future, we have to ask ourselves how AI is going to shape our digital cities. With AI increasingly writing our code and generating our UIs, will it push us further into framework complexity, building even taller, denser digital skyscrapers? Or will it accelerate that return to the simplicity of HTML first, generating clean, standard, zero-build web pages? It is a pivotal moment for the web, and understanding these foundations is your map to navigating whatever comes next. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep building.